That's why we gotta put them on so we can actually see. You know what I'm saying? I'm the type of person that's really gonna, like, I'm gonna fight you, bro. Devin know that. You know what I'm saying? That's why Devin put that little tweet out on Twitter that one time, like, yeah, we can make it happen.
One of the most intense backstage altercations in recent memory occurred just now in the boxing world. Additionally, the events involving Keyshawn Davis and Bill Haney have left everyone in the sport in complete awe of how swiftly the argument turned from trash talk to a near-physical brawl that had the potential to change everything. Details of what actually transpired inside Madison Square Garden behind closed doors are finally being made public by people with knowledge of the matter. Furthermore, the story being told is far more intense than anyone could have predicted from a distance. Days after Keyshawn Davis stunned 20,000 spectators by knocking out Jermaine Ortiz in the 12th, tensions between the Davis camp and the Haney family apparently reached a boiling point in New York that almost resulted in a full-fledged altercation. Many people think that Bill Haney's remarks on Keyshawn Davis and his team, which sources characterize as disrespectful, inflammatory, and intended to elicit a response from one of boxing's rising stars at a time when emotions were already running very high, were the catalyst for the altercation. We must first comprehend why the tension between Keyshawn Davis and the entire Haney family had been rising to such a high level for weeks prior to this incident even happening, before delving into the specifics of what sources claim transpired in that backstage area. It took time for the animosity between these two groups to develop. Since Keyshawn Davis began publicly criticizing Devin Haney for a massive fight, this has been simmering at a welterweight. And his method shocked the boxing community as a whole as well as social media.
Your hit list next.
Everybody.
Devin Haney. Why is that the fight for you? His father in my DMs keeps screenshotting stuff that we saying. I don't know what he's screenshotting it for, but Devin Haney definitely on my hit list, and we making that happen 2026.
In an Instagram video that went viral, Keyshawn Davis referred to Devin Haney as Debo, after the well-known bully character from the beloved film Friday. Davis makes it very apparent in the video what he believes would occur if they ever entered the ring together. Davis confidently shouted, "Hey, I'm gonna whoop your behind," right on camera. Debo, as it is known. Are you aware of Debo's fate at the film's conclusion? He was struck with a brick. I'm not playing when Debo gets struck by a brick.
Hey, I'm gonna whoop your ass, so-called Debo. You know what happened to Debo at the end of the movie? He got hit with a brick. Debo might get hit with a brick. Talk some Latins and Spanish people. Nah, don't pick on them. Pick on me. Keep picking on Craig, and you're gonna figure out what's gonna happen. You're gonna get hit with a brick.
There was no mistaking the message. Keyshawn wasn't merely challenging Devin Haney to a brawl. He was announcing to the boxing community that he intended to completely destroy Haney. Additionally, he personally tagged Devin and Bill Haney in the post to ensure that they saw it.
I was always around Shakur as an amateur, and so Shakur introduced me to Floyd, Devin Haney, all that type of shit. So there's a hell of times around Devin Haney, and we 24 fitness playing basketball before became celebrities type, or just who we are today. Just never even looked me in my eyes. Never showed me respect. Like it never. Shakur always like, yo, this Keyshawn, this, that, third. He be like, for real? Still a kid.
Tension would have been generated just by that video. However, what actually put things on a collision course toward the backstage altercation that almost descended into violence is what insiders claim transpired afterward. People associated with both camps claim that Keyshawn Davis's remarks regarding his kid did not sit well with Bill Haney. Additionally, sources claim that he began making remarks both in public and privately that Davis's close associates perceived as going beyond competitive trash talk to something considerably more nasty and personal.
Keyshawn Davis, your man Keyshawn Davis is on there too. He can get it too.
Like right now?
Man, listen, I go on my email, he'd be playing though. Keyshawn, you know you didn't have to fight this guy that you fighting right now. You know you could be fighting Devin next, right? You know that, right? I'll show the email.
Didn't know that.
I'll show you the text right now.
According to one person with knowledge of the matter, Bill Haney had been remarking on Keyshawn Davis's squad, his level of training, and his preparedness for elite competition. Remarks that sources characterize as condescending and intended to damage Davis's reputation as a serious threat.
And Devin Haney, so I think the business option, so we're gonna weigh him.
I was gonna say, Devin said, let's do it. You know, I know he's dealing with some legal issues. I don't know what happened. He said he had to turn himself in, but I believe he tweeted like, Keyshawn, let's do it. I mean,
He said that?
Yeah, but he tweeted like something like that. Yeah.
Well, you know, Bill was in my DMs. We already was talking about it, honestly.
The events inside Madison Square Garden at the weigh-ins for the fight between Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez further complicated matters. An occasion where hostilities between several factions were already extremely high. Bill Haney was seen on camera during the MSG weigh-ins getting caught up in a furious altercation with his teammates that broke out backstage. As shouts raised and bodies began quickly closing space, the video showed Dante Tiger Johnson, who is associated with Haney's camp, engaged in a furious altercation with several others. Before security and other individuals were able to separate everyone involved, Johnson was being told repeatedly to calm down as hands started to rise, and the situation appeared to be about to escalate into something much more dangerous. Many people think that the tumultuous environment during that weigh-in, along with the tension that had been accumulating between camps for weeks, made for the ideal scenario for what is said to have occurred when Keyshawn Davis and Bill Haney met backstage soon after. Several people with knowledge of the events claim that Keyshawn Davis and Bill Haney ended up next to each other backstage at Madison Square Garden. And what began as a verbal exchange swiftly turned into something far more intense, more than anyone anticipated. According to sources, Bill Haney said things to Keyshawn Davis that were deemed offensive and inappropriate by others who observed the exchange. Remarks on Davis's fighting prowess, his readiness to take on Devin Haney, and the skill of his staff in currently preparing him for elite competition.
Right now, with him, you know, because with our game, it's DTC, man, direct to consumer, man. You dig? No, we going to DMs. I mean, come on, man, you know, if you really wanted to fight Devin, you would call Dre. You know that's the big homie.
According to a source who claims to have witnessed the altercation, Keyshawn Davis's entire demeanor changed the instant he heard what Bill Haney was saying. Davis was described as obviously irate and prepared to physically react if the verbal exchange went in the same direction. According to those with direct knowledge of the incident, Keyshawn Davis's team members had to physically intervene between him and Bill Haney to keep things from escalating into a physical altercation that might have led to suspensions, fines, or even criminal charges for all parties. According to the story, the informant said that Keyshawn Davis was very near to punching someone, with his hand actually rising before someone grabbed him and dragged him away from the altercation before it got out of hand. The fact that Keyshawn Davis has a history of violent backstage altercations only serves to heighten the intensity of this situation. Something the boxing community saw in a totally different occurrence only a few months prior. Keyshawn Davis and his former opponent Nahir Albright got into a backstage brawl back in June 2025 after Albright defeated Keyshawn's older brother Kelvin Davis on the same card that Keyshawn was scheduled to defend his WBO lightweight title. Punches and things being thrown backstage during that incident were captured on camera, and Keyshawn Davis was led by police out of the premises. Davis then acknowledged that the state was looking into him, Virginia, for the incident, which took place on the same fateful night that his title match was called off after he missed weight by 4.3 pounds. Many people think that Keyshawn Davis's history of backstage altercations made this encounter with Bill Haney much riskier because, according to insiders, Davis was refusing to back down from anyone, no matter the cost. And it was only the involvement of those who knew exactly what was at stake that kept things from becoming physical.
I'm playing, bro. Nah, why Devin Haney, bro? Honestly, because he's a star. He's a superstar.
You asking that question, I felt like that's what it was. But go ahead.
Yeah, like at the end of the day, I'm ready to fight anybody. So I'm going for the stars.
Keyshawn Davis had recently put on his best performance of his professional career against Jermaine Ortiz, stopping a fighter who had never been knocked out before with a vicious body attack in the 12th round, making the timing of this bout more noteworthy. In his post-fight interview, Davis took aim at Devin Haney, telling the public that he thought the fight would be simple and that he wanted to face the WBO welterweight champion next. Following the Ortiz bout, Davis informed the reporters with complete conviction, "I think it would be easy for me to fight Devin Haney." It would be quite simple. I am certain that I would stop Devin Haney. You have no authority. I have nothing to be concerned about.
Like, he just never gave me my respect.
He sunned you.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know goddamn well, now I'm here, and everything Shakur been saying, I lived up to it and then some.
The Haney family was obviously offended by those remarks, and according to insiders, Bill Haney's reaction to Keyshawn's shout-out was the direct cause of the tense situation that almost descended into a physical brawl backstage. In response to Keyshawn Davis's challenge, Devin Haney openly declared his willingness to fight, posting on social media, "You on the list, we can get it on." However, it appears from sources that Bill Haney does not consider Keyshawn Davis to be a real threat to his son, and he has been expressing this position in ways that Davis and his team find extremely offensive. The whole thing has led to one of the fiercest rivalries in boxing at the moment. Both sides are obviously unwilling to give up, and if the verbal combat keeps up at this level, both groups seem prepared to let things turn physical.
How does you and Devin Haney end? How does that fight go?
A knockout.
Keyshawn Davis is currently in a highly odd position in his boxing career, which adds to the complexity of this confrontation. For the Ortiz battle, he recently increased his weight to 140 pounds. He recently declared that he is refusing to pay sanctioning body fees because he feels he does not need belts to become a superstar, and he is criticizing Devin Haney, a welterweight champion. Due to his decision to abandon conventional ranking systems, Davis is now in a position where he requires well-known bouts to keep up his momentum. Additionally, the Devin Haney battle is the ideal example of a high-profile bout that might propel him to the next level of competition. However, reports indicate that according to Bill Haney, Keyshawn Davis is attempting to cross the line and create celebrity status via social media and discourse rather than gaining it by competing against elite opponents in the weight class where he is criticizing others. Every encounter between the camps feels as though it could suddenly degenerate into something physical due to the tension between these two points of view. Boxing fans' responses to the incident have been mixed, with some applauding Keyshawn Davis's aggressive strategy of calling out bigger names and others thinking he is the one responsible for the backstage altercation at Madison Square Garden, which is unmistakable proof that this rivalry has progressed far beyond typical competitive trash talk. Is treating Devin Haney, a boxer who has achieved much more in the sport, disrespectfully.
I'm not Jermaine, now what we doing?
The same thing that we talked about we were going to do in the DM before you picked Jermaine.
2026, we doing it.
Promise? Remember,
You promised. You're the promoter.
Well, I got you. Listen, in the DMs, I got your word on it. All right, just stand on it. Good luck, handle that business, okay?
After learning of the backstage altercation, one fan posted on social media, "Keyshawn needs to exercise caution. If they ever get into a fight, Devin will make Bill Haney pay for all of this nonsense. He is not someone you want to mess with." Another fan said, "Bill Haney needs to let his son fight his own battles," in response, offering an entirely opposite viewpoint. Devin, not his father, is being called out by Keyshawn. "Give up shielding mature males." This fan division effectively conveys the complexities of the scenario, where there are valid concerns about whether Keyshawn Davis has the right to demand a fight with Devin Haney and if Bill Haney's participation in the verbal altercation is appropriate in light of in the ring. These two skilled fighters ought to be able to resolve their issues.
I'm just trying to figure out at the end of the day if Keyshawn Davis really wants the biggest fights in the sport of boxing, or does he just want the biggest headlines? You know, after stopping Jermaine Ortiz Saturday night, Keyshawn Davis immediately calls out Devin Haney in the ring, and I'm not gonna lie to y'all, that's a real fight for the sport.
The entire boxing community will be intently observing what transpires between these two teams going forward, as reports indicate that the hostility is genuine. Both parties seem unwilling to leave this argument, and the disdain is personal. It remains to be seen if athletic commissions look into this backstage incident, if it influences the possibility that a fight between Davis and Haney will actually take place, or if it grows worse the next time these camps cross paths. However, it is now abundantly evident that Keyshawn Davis and Bill Haney were on the verge of escalating their verbal sparring into a physical brawl. Things might have irreversibly altered both of their lives. And the only thing that stopped that from happening was the intervention of people who were aware of the stakes.
Keyshawn Davis looked spectacular in his 140-pound debut, calls out Devin Haney, but Devin Haney, for some obvious reason, couldn't be there to accept the call out.
The boxing community is observing. The rivalry is genuine. Additionally, security should be prepared for anything the next time Keyshawn Davis and any Haney family members are in the same building. And for now, that's it. Stay tuned for the most up-to-date information on boxing news, events, and happenings by subscribing to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to enable notifications so you can be informed when we post high-quality material like this. Peace until the next time.